Clarity. That's my word. Is you hearing me? Please, we need some clarity. Clear some space. Yeah, I only love her if I hear love.
Welcome. I am Zag. This is Talent You Should Know, and I'm here with Ciph Boogie. I'm so excited. So, first off, how did you get the name Ciph Boogie? Is that, like short for cipher? Tell me what it's.
Yeah, so long time ago, I used to study what is called 5%er.
Oh, see, mathematics. So is that why you have
Mathematics.
four
Yeah.
wisdom, culture, freedom?
Yeah. So there's a guy around my way. He always he wrote down the things and everything, like the mathematics.
Right.
And I used to go over them, and I saw a cipher. So this is around the time when I really started rapping. I was about like 15 or something like that.
Right.
And cipher really resonated with who I wanted to be as an artist, like a complete artist. I could talk about whatever, and just it just stuck out to me. So I was like, let me roll with that. So for a good couple of years, I was cipher.
Right.
So after a while, I was like, nah, that's too long. It's corny. Like I just wasn't jacking the name no more. So I was like, let me just drop the E off and become Ciph.
Okay.
So Boogie came in. Yeah, so Boogie came in where one of my best friends, his name is K Song. He used to rap. We did a freestyle over Quiet Storm beat, Mob Deep.
Mm-hmm.
So he referenced me. He said something, Ciph Boogie. I was like, oh, I got a nice ring to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just used it. Yeah, so I just ran with it and just been using it ever since.
So, and it's really catchy. So that's why I was like, ooh, I like that. Because, there's some names where it's like Lil this or whatever, and it's not memorable, but I feel like, Ciph Boogie is super memorable. So I noticed on your site, I've talked about this in previous episodes. I noticed that you're independent, and people really do not realize how hard it is to be independent. So, what made you kind of go that route? And can you just tell us a little bit of, what is the good part about it and maybe some of the harder things about it?
The good part about it is, you own your own stuff. I guess off the rip, that's one of the things that comes to mind for me. You own all your stuff. You could use your stuff to leverage. Depending on how your hustle is, how your grind is, how your buzz is, you could use a lot of things to your advantage.
Yeah.
The hard thing about it is that everything is coming out your pocket. You're financing a lot. You know what I mean? So if you where you got to decide, hey, should I go to the studio and pay my rent? And it's like that.
Can I say I've made decisions like that before?
Right.
It's like. And it's like, I made a call hey, I'm going to be late this month because, the music, it's real. When it's in you like that and you're like, okay, well, if I talk to them, they might be a little bit more reasonable and maybe I can use this $300 just because, to pay for studio time or whatever it is. But I mean, it doesn't happen often, but it does, it happens. So, I think one thing, I liked was your mission statement, and I'm going to read it. I know you know it, but people might not know it. And you said, I create music based on the human experience. I like to discuss the good and bad side of life. I feel that it's more realistic. Nothing life is always positive. Nothing in life is always negative. My music provides a balance of both. And I thought that was a really smart statement, and I thought it was a really poignant statement because a lot of people like to focus on one or the other. And so kind of what made you decide hey, I'm going to, sit there and mix the pot a bit and not just say, hey, I've always gone through hard times.
It's just being honest about life, Honestly, life is just that balance, it's that mix, you know what I'm saying? There's good times and there's bad times. So I approach it from that, basically. Mm-hmm. It's just honestly just being realistic, Because if you hear my music too, a lot of people probably will put me in the positive rapper category, like that. But life just don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? It's you deal with death, you deal with heartbreak. You know what I mean? There's good times. You graduate, you get a job promotion, whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's good. It's just realistic. to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, yeah.
And I think that that's good because, you know, there are good and bad days. And it's like sometimes you listen to people and you're like, shit, were you ever happy? Like, it's like,
For real, like,
like, can you just one good day? Like, maybe, possibly. So,
yeah, that can't be all bad. Like, come on.
The other thing that I liked is that, like, you're super consistent. You know, like, I feel like you're always out there and you're always kind of like working. And it looked like earlier this year, I know you were at SOBs, which is huge because SOBs is like really a no shit crowd. Like in New York, it's like they do
can't
not
fuck
care.
around SOBs.
Right. So that's kind of like a really big thing. Like, did you have more shows lined up before the pandemic, or how? Yeah.
I did. I had two more. I had a show in March, and that's when everything really hit. And I had one in April, and both of them got canceled. I was just like, I was sick about that. Yeah. I was like, but I get it, you know, safety and everything. But it was
absolutely.
just like, I was on the road, man. Like I was like,
you were in it. You know, I escaped like right before. I say escaped because I was in New Jersey right around the time you know, everything started happening. So we literally left March 16th, and I think they locked it down March 17th. Like I was just there on a business trip, and they locked it down the next day. And it was, you could kind of feel the weight in the air. Like you could feel it, and it was strange. I'd never felt that before. That kind of like almost fear and just like what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
So I want to
quick.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no. So real quick, I'll just quick story. Yeah. So because like that, the SOB show was February 25th, and my birthday was February 29th. So I went to Las Vegas for my birthday. So this is right before everything happened. So I was sitting in the airport, and I saw, you know, people wearing a mask, and I was just looking. I'm like, all right, you know, not saying I wasn't taking it seriously because it was on the news that, you know, this virus was out, but it was just like a lot of people got on masks. Okay. So then, you know, I was able to enjoy Las Vegas. So I always say that to myself. I'm like, I was able to really enjoy Vegas before it, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure it's completely different from when I went there in February, and that was like a couple of months ago. So it wasn't that long ago. So I always say to myself, like, yo, like I made it right this time.
Yeah. Can I ask you something? This wasn't in like any of the questions, but you know, you're from Brooklyn. They're like, you know, you're a dope rapper. There are a lot of dope rappers from Brooklyn. Do you feel like there's a certain pressure to like, you know, be at a certain height because you're from Brooklyn, like be at a certain level as far as like lyricism?
That's a good question. That's a great question, actually. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. But as for me, I welcome it because I understand, you know, the borough. I understand, like, as far as like the talent that's come here, you know, Spike Lee, Biggie, Jay-Z, Barbra Streisand, like she's an Oscar winner, like that's, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like I recognize it and I welcome it, you know. I definitely welcome it. Yeah.
So I want to get into your music because I like that there are a couple of things I like about it. One is that you're super versatile. Like when I was listening to Ghost of Christopher Wallace, here's why I thought it was dope. Because it sounded like a freestyle. Yeah. And I know that was intentional. And I was like, oh, this is so hard because there's not really like a hook or anything. It's just like, hey, yo, welcome to my Terror Dome. And I'm like, oh my God. So did you mean it for it to sound like that since he was like really good at freestyling? Was that the intention?
Yeah, it was intentional. Yeah, it was. Because it was just like Ghost of Christopher Wallace, you know what I'm saying, which everybody knows is big. So it's like, being out from Brooklyn, if I'm coming out with that title,
exactly.
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah,
Oh,
I was super excited about that one.
yeah. Ah, man. Yeah. That's like Biggie's like he's just like my favorite rapper. Like you know how like somebody like L Cool J might be like, or yeah, L Cool J,
Yeah.
or they'll say like Run DMC was his favorite or something like that, or Tribe Called Quest. Like Biggie, that's for me. That's my guy. Like
Yeah.
it's just I could.
No, it's funny because I remember I won tickets when I was in high school to see on Hot 97 to see him on the Intrepid, the boat, and he was there with Biggie, and we were all in the audience. You know, he was wearing his hot ass sweater. It was like I had no business being out there at my age, but I was so happy that I saw him at that point, and to see him, catapult to where I was like, he is so dope. And then it was like he just took off.
Yeah, legend, man, legendary.
Yeah. So Traffic. I want you to know, like, I am like super into lyrics. I will like write them down, and I'm just kind of like, I really am into it, probably because I write too. So I'm not a hip hop artist, but like I write music.
You're a songwriter.
Yeah,
like,
I just songwriter.
Yeah.
Like in it, you said like you said feeling shit in my soul, trying hard to let go. Mine is in the fight. Drive on this highway.
Yeah, right. Yeah, riding on. Minding in the fight for
drive on this highway in minutes, trying to get away from this traffic. Yeah. Now, my question is, one, did you write this in quarantine?
No, that's the crazy part. I wrote this way before quarantine, so it was like when, it was like when it happened. It was just at the time it was just so perfect. And I was like, oh shit, wow. Yeah. Like I was just listening to it like while we were in quarantine, and just pushing it out. And like, I seen people like specific people just like listening to it and saying that they liked it, and it was helping them as we get through this quarantine. And it was just like, it was so like great timing, because I released that song. Actually, I released it on February 23rd. I performed it when I was at SOBs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was just timing, like.
Because you said you have this part, you said it gets real when the pain hit. Yeah. Put you through, keep myself solid. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's so real right now, like mentally where people are, because there is a lot of like shit going on in your head. You got to stay home. You can't go see your family and that kind of stuff. And there's certain things, that will push you, that will push you through. So it's just interesting that, the timing of that. Right.
Yeah. It tripped me out. I was just like, wow, like that's some real artist shit. Like, yeah. Like, wow. Like I'm like it. So the song just came from, like I said, I'm feeling shit in my soul. So it was just like I was feeling something within, you know what I'm saying? I feel like we all as humans, we have that thing where we are stuck in our own minds. I know I am. I'm a Pisces. I'm always thinking about some shit. Right. So it's like,
yeah.
So it's like, I'm feeling my own stuff, but I know that I'm not the only one. So that's where it goes back to the whole human experience thing and my mission statement, because it's that connection. I know I'm not the only person who feels like that. So it was like I just wrote how I felt about certain things, and just others, like.
That's one thing that I've learned in this time, is like how to be still. Yeah. And like sit, and like I've tried to meditate. I'm in there like 5 minutes, and then I start getting like a little antsy. I'm an amateur, at that. Yeah. But it's like, it's one of those things when your mind is just, it's going too many places. Just being still.
Yeah, it's not, it's because I've tried meditation. I'm not great, but I it's, you got to keep doing. It's like a muscle. You just got to keep working at it. I'm not the greatest at it, but when the mind starts to wander, I try to like center myself, just focus on my breath.
Right.
That's what they say to do. When the mind starts wandering, like let your thoughts pass by. Don't interact with the thoughts. Just let it go and just breathe. Saying focus on your breath. You know what I mean? That's the way of like just centering yourself. Right. It's you got to keep doing it. It's repetitive, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet myself, so sometimes I remember one time I fell asleep. I'm not even gonna
Listen, I still got to get my workout gear out of a box that I bought like 2 months ago. So I'm gonna steps.
Yeah.
So we're gonna so Brooklyn stay winning.
Yeah.
Cannot lose.
Yeah.
I really play for keeps, but on the humble, I'm a winner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's when you said living by these codes, it's all about the mindset.
Yeah.
Stone cold stunner when I speak. And that's so important in this game, because if you're not confident about your shit and you don't really, understand, just the science behind, really making sure that you're mentally prepared for all the challenges that are going to come in this game. You know what I'm saying? It's going to eat you. And it's funny you say Brooklyn stay winning, because you do. And I like that you were like super optimistic, in this. You were proud of yourself, proud of where you're from, and proud of where you were from. And I thought it sounded like a really triumphant song.
Yeah. That's funny too. It's like, like I had my boy told me, he was like, yo, he listened to it in the morning before he get up. He's like, it gets him like going.
Yeah. It's
you know
like the anthem.
Yeah, like it gets you out of bed, I heard a lot of people like say like the song like just it motivates them, with the school, which is what I want, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff in the world, you know what I mean? Like it's just you need something to get you up, pick you up, get you going, whether it's meditation, you reading the Bible, or a song, that just hits your spirit in that way, I'm just a vessel.
Yeah. Do you make your own tracks? Do you make your own beats?
No, I work with different producers.
What do you think is harder? Do you think it's harder to write a rhyme first, or to get a beat and then write a rhyme to it?
I think it's writing could be, but that's tough, because I feel like you gotta just live with the track too. You just gotta be like, you gotta kind of like connect with it in a way, and just I say let the beat talk to you.
Yeah.
Let it talk to you, and you just follow whatever the emotion the beat is giving you. Right. That's how I tend to write. Like however it makes me feel, and I just go from there.
And that's interesting. I think some people don't understand what goes into songwriting because it's not even just like about rhyming. Right. It's like, all right, like you said, what is this saying to you? What feeling is this invoking, right? And then it's, how do I say this in a way? Because I think when music's a part of you, to verbalize that is also like difficult at times. But when you do, it just kind of like comes out, right? Yeah. All at once. So, just the whole science behind that is so, I don't know. I'm just so intrigued by that. Like hip hop, to me, is super passionate, because I think a lot of it comes from like a raw place inside. Yeah. Do you think that you would ever like bring up your own artist too?
Yeah. Like on some like a mentoring type of tip, and like yeah. I've actually tried to do that in the past, but it didn't work out. Just certain things just happened as far as just artists didn't have that confidence in themselves. I'm always trying to like when I see a potential in somebody, especially if I see that talented, like let's keep working. Or if I could give them any advice or any from my journey, I'm always here to do that. But definitely. I would.
It's not for the faint of heart. I remember I was talking to a hip hop artist. He said he'd be on stage and there'd just be someone in the back holding their middle finger up at them. The whole like, I'm like,
that's wild.
I'm like, damn, like
yeah, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy.
So this leads me to like actually my favorite, which is Clarity. I said the intro is so dope, like I can't even stand it. And I said I loved your attitude in it. because the first thing that you said is I only love her if her hair's long. And I said, let me talk.
That's on Hunger of Net on the ring songs. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. And I like how you kind of did the, nigga, get your hand out my pocket. Like you threw some Malcolm X in there.
Yeah.
That, you can't waste time. You clear some space for clarity. And I think I wanted to know if you were talking about how to maintain a relationship with not just music, but with people. Like, is that kind of what you were referring to, or did I miss it?
It's so many different. So like with clarity, it's like it's I say like you hiding the medicine in the candy, basically. Mm-hmm. So I start off, I only love with a Hitler. So it's like I'm talking about a female, right?
Right.
But as you get to the middle, I start kind of like
right.
the Malcolm X thing, and then by wasting time. So I like, it's like each of the verses, how I structured it is like, it's kind of all over the place, but by the time we get to the end of the verses, you hear exactly what I'm talking about. That was like the idea behind the song. So it's like, it's really social justice kind of thing.
Yeah. I like how at the end that you ended that, with like the unjustly killed, like you said all of their names and everything. And right before that, like one of the dopest lines you said, at 5 a.m.
Getting my rap.
Bloodshot, the grind, living the passion. And it's like, seriously, I've fell asleep and woken up in the studio and just been like, okay, like, let's go again. Let me brush my teeth just so I feel like a person.
It's real. It's like, there's definitely many times where I've been up late. I'm sure my neighbors have been mad as hell. Keep blasting though, because I got to get that line out.
I like that you're also like, you're still like performing. I saw you just did Lawyers and Labels.
Yeah.
And that was like a super intimate setting. And in these times, I think that'll probably happen more often.
Right.
And I know it's probably a bit of an adjustment for you as far as like the stages that you've been on, but I thought that you were like going super hard in that.
Thank you.
Is that something that like you found more often? Like it's more small, intimate events?
So with the Lawyers and Labels, the shout out to my Kev, he do that. Kevo, he does Lawyers and Labels and stuff like that. Yeah, like, so originally how it was supposed to, well, my understanding of it was that they was playing artist records and things like that. So later I found out that they was gonna be performing. So it kind of caught me off guard, but I was prepared. So I was just like, fuck it, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah. So yeah, I was just prepared and ready to go with it, and yeah.
Well, it looked really fun, and then I saw that you did this virtual concert too.
Yeah, I did.
That's like, what is that like? Like doing a virtual concert? Because I didn't, obviously I didn't see it. Is it something where you are in your studio or whatever and you perform, or do they have you all in one place but socially distanced? How does that work?
Yeah, it was all in one place, socially distanced. It was like live stream. Breezy Lucas, shout out to her. She's the one who put me onto that. But yeah, it was like a live stream event that we did. Everybody was socially distanced and all that. It was just came together and rocked out.
Right.
Yeah, it was dope.
So I want to say congratulations again on making, the top 10 Brooklyn talent search.
Rising. Yeah.
I like that things like that are still happening. Because I think it's like important for creatives to still get recognized, because, right now it's like you're so used to all of the big people that like people who aren't, who are still grinding and that kind of stuff, they might not be as, shown as much. But I also think that this is a great opportunity, you know what I mean, for, like me, like I started a podcast, or, is there anything that you thought of like, hey, now that we have this time, like this is what I want to do? Is there anything now that you've been thinking of?
Actually, I wanted to do a poetry album. I thought about, because I write a lot of poetry.
I was gonna ask that. Keep going.
I write a lot and I had thought about doing it for years too, just like a poetry album. Because a lot of people have told me that too. Like, you got this poetic thing with you. I guess the depth of my lyrics and all that.
Mm.
But thought about that. I thought about getting a home studio, because
Yeah.
I need to get a home studio. So I thought about that, things like that too, because a lot of times I'll be like, just have when I'm in that creative mode, like dial it up and go. You know what I mean? And just do what I'm whatever I'm feeling at the moment.
Because honestly, I recorded in bathrooms and closets and everywhere. And you could put that together, and then that's and what's interesting is that's also like another source of income too.
Right. That's a whole fact, yeah. That's a whole fact.
So when everything opens back up, when the world opens back up, what do you think the first thing that you're gonna do is?
I'm going to Disney World now. Yes.
Disney World, right?
Right, yeah, because man, I'm catching cabin fever being in the house. But definitely, I want to. Well, yeah, I want to travel. I want to travel. Me and my girlfriend was talking about traveling. Just, I love California too. Like, I need to go to Cali.
I just came back. The vibe out there is really, really great. Like, I was just like, look at the sun. It was shut down, but it was a really nice vibe.
Yeah.
The driving
is shaky.
It's crazy out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, the vibe in general is really good.
Yeah, but definitely I want to travel more, do more videos, things like that. Just really get back to, like, hopefully we could do live shows. I'm feeling to really touch a stage, like just getting the crowd reaction. And
so are you currently working on like an LP or a new project?
Yeah, EP. I'm working on the EP right now. Putting the songs together. I still got like a few more, but I'm always like working, as far as like, because I get beats from like everybody. So I'm always like, sorting through what's good, or what's satisfying to the ear, satisfying to the ear, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm always like just still trying to create stuff. One of the things, I guess one of the critiques that I've had for myself is that I feel like I've never really made like a cohesive project.
Okay.
I saw sometime in New York City one. That was like my EP, but a real theme project.
Right.
So I've been kind of like focusing on doing that, being like a very, very cohesive project.
And that's not an easy thing, because it's one of those like, okay, am I going to start off from when I was 15 and then go to when I was 20, when I met my first girlfriend, then I had my first breakup, then you know what I mean? And that's just, and then to write in that pattern, is also, that's not easy.
Like an author. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to do that. Yeah, I definitely want to do that.
So now, if you could collaborate with anyone, let's do 3 people. What?
Living or dead?
Huh?
Living or dead?
Both.
Both?
Both.
I could collaborate. I would definitely say John Lennon. John Lennon from the Beatles.
Yeah.
Yeah, John Lennon. I think Kid Cudi. I like Kid Cudi. I feel like we would mesh in a certain way. Michael Jackson.
Can I tell you? Here's the thing. I was sitting here like, if he don't say
Michael Jackson. Like, I'm gonna end this interview like this. If you don't say Michael Jackson.
Thank you.
But yeah, Michael Jackson. Definitely Michael Jackson.
So
even to write for Michael Jackson would have been dope. Like, to work with him in that way, you know what I mean? So
yeah. You know what I say, and I don't know if anyone's going to disagree with me, but I always say that Chris Brown is the Michael Jackson of this generation. Like,
yeah, I can see him.
wise, he's an excellent performer, and he has a really great voice. I think that some people look at a lot of it like other stuff, but if you just focus on like the creativity and the talent, exactly. That's where I see that.
You could definitely to add to your point, you could see he's inspired by Michael Jackson, but I feel like he's like on steroids, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like he just, but you could see the influence. So yeah, I definitely agree with that statement.
Yeah. So tell me why you picked John Lennon. That's interesting.
So my last EP I came out with sometime in New York City, Volume 1, was based on that he had put out back in the 70s with his wife Yoko Ono and the Plastic Ono Band. So that album was political, but the reason why I say John Lennon is because he embodies a lot of what my foundation as an artist, as far as that honest, raw, brutally honest truth. Yeah. Like, here it is. If you don't like it, so fucking what? So that's what he represented. So I feel like, that's what makes you beloved. You know what I mean? Like, when you just got that honest truth, you connect with people in that real way.
Yeah.
So that's why I was John Lennon, because he's dope. I mean, a lot of people might not get with him or be into the music, but it's that honesty, that raw honesty he had, was just always dope to me.
How much do you think the current political climate is going to affect your new work?
A lot. I'm always like, oh my God, like I have CNN on in my house right now.
Right.
I'm always watching. I'm always in tune with what's going on with the world. So a lot. I would say a lot. But it also has to fit with the song, whatever I'm working on.
Right.
I mean, but yeah, I see a lot.
Because it could even go from, before the injustices that we've seen before to now, like when you're talking about the story,
right?
Like before cameras and after cameras, right? The other thing that I think people don't realize that's super important is like the team,
right?
That you have, not and the team as far as like not just I got a stylist and I got but like someone who is an honest ear, like that's whack, right? Or that's hard. Now, do you have like a core set of people that you kind of like keep with you?
Yeah, I do, and they are fucking brutally honest. Like, Jesus Christ. It's like, just to like I said, my boy Ant, it was a beat that I'm working on. I was just like, yo, what do you think about this? You know what I'm saying? Because he'll tell me the truth. Like, nah, bro, this ain't it. Like, this shit whack.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but he like yo, it's good. Yo, I'm about to start writing on it.
Yeah.
So it was good. So like, I have a good, because like I'm putting this out into the world, and I'm someone who focuses on quality, so I need honest people around me as far as say, yo, life is not it. You know what I mean? So I'm blessed that I have that. Because my friends definitely tell me if a beat wasn't good, like, nah, you could do better than that. So,
yeah. And there are people out there who will be like, yo, that's hard. And then it gets out in the world and you're like, yo, you let me come out like this?
Right. That's like, I got a boogie in my nose. You say, yeah, your face good, son. And you let me come outside, and a girl be like, oh, you got a boogie in your nose.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, nah, man.
So tell me about, now you said before all of this happened that you had like you had a couple of shows lined up.
Yeah.
Do you have a plan for like the next, say, like 5 years? Like, what does that look like for you?
Definitely with the label. I'm looking to more like groom other artists. A little younger than me. Groom artists. Just mentoring them basically, and really establishing my label, my company. you know, just to take over and stuff like that in the world. It just
Yeah.
take over the whole world. But I really want to, you know, work with younger artists.
I'm gonna tell you this, like I'm like a super fan. Like there are people that I listen to and I'm like, oh, they're really good, and you know, this that. But I just like, I really, really like your stuff. Like when you like, oh, vote for me. Like I'm not just gonna vote for people just because they say vote. Like,
Yeah.
let me listen to their music first before I start. You know. But you are really just so good, and I feel like, you know, whatever you say is gonna happen, it's gonna happen. You know what I mean? So before I, you know, end this or what have you, is there anything that you think that we should know, like where we should look for you, or?
Well, of course, you know, I have my website, ciph-boogie24.com.
Like I literally, so I always do, like I try to do as much research because I want people to make, you know, I want people to know that I value.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think that's so dope. I do. Like, I feel like, you know, it went very well. Like we were flowing, and that's from, you know, you knowing, you know, the stuff, doing research. That makes the best interview, in my opinion.
Well, thank you so much for being on our show, and I really look forward to new work from you. And you know, definitely, I will put everything out there. And you know, thanks again.
Thank you for just being interested in my story and, you know, knowing about me. So I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right. Brooklyn stay winning.
Brooklyn stay winning.
I really play for keeps on the humble, I'm that nigga. Oh, how sweet the sound. You live and check your temperature. You running with the walls high. Tell me how you feeling, bro.